That's okay. How much did we miss?
This is in the spring.
Okay. So this is a very important place. This was in May of 1754. This is where the French and Indian War began, and this is where the 7 Years' War in Europe began. Because what happened here was going to spark everything else that we've talked about in this course. It sparked the siege at Fort Necessity, the battle at Fort Ligonier, and a lot of these other encounters that we're going to talk about throughout the course. But here's where it began. Here's where George Washington's military and political life began. This is where the world would go to war for 7 years in Europe and a total of another 3 or 4 more in North America. And it was truly the First World War. And it's fascinating because within the space of a few miles, we can stand in spots like this where we know that George Washington was. He could well be right here. He probably was somewhere along this upper ridge line. But he was here. He was at Fort Necessity. And he was at Braddock's grave on the road that we saw there. We know exactly where he was. There are very few times in history where you can place an historical person pretty much exactly where he would have been at a particular point in time. It's quite beautiful down here, but very moody, as you can see. It's very dark. At the time, these woods would have been even thicker than they are now. There's not a lot of sunlight penetrating down into this wooded area. We're going to walk down now the trail and get down into the glen itself, where Jumonville and his party were camped.